This episode is made possible by Red H Nutrition. Red H Nutrition is your one-stop shop for nutrition and wellness supplements. You can check them out in the show notes, and don't forget to use code RUNLIFTMOM, RUNLIFTMOM, at checkout to save 10%. Also, if you stick around to the end of the episode, you'll hear me interview the owner of Red H Nutrition about one of my favorite products. And as always, I'm a Zaya Active representative, so don't forget to get on my New Release Wednesday text message. Yeah, you heard me right. By going to newreleasewednesday.com, put in your phone number, and then you don't have to scroll social media all day come Wednesdays. I'm going to send you my favorite directly to your phone. Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're going to spend a lot of time squarely in the momming category because I know that many of you are in charge of meals for your family. And your family are the folks that you love more than anyone in this world, so you want them to be healthy. Today, I've got with you the whole cook, aka Christina Shoemaker. Maybe you know her from her Instagram account that is knocking on 70,000 connections at the time of this recording. Maybe you know her from thewholecook.com. If so, you know that her recipes are dairy-free, gluten-free, refined sugar-free, paleo, and Whole30 compliant. Confused? Y'all, that just means that she uses real foods if it came from the ground or had a mama. That's right. Before you go thinking she's one of those, I have to tell you, I have personally known Christina for over 15 years now. I knew this woman when she was turning in expense reports for Diet Coke and beef jerky and Cheetos. She did not come to this healthy eating thing easily or early. So listen as she shares her journey, what made her want to care more about what she was putting in her body, and how she makes it stupid easy to prepare healthy foods for the entire family. Without further ado, the whole cook, my friend, Christina Shoemaker. The whole cook to the Run Lift Mom podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, Christina, real talk. When you and I worked together, what seems like lifetime ago, I mean, real talk, it was 6 kids ago and a few states ago for you. I knew you as the girl who was always turning in expense reports that had like beef jerky and Twizzlers and Diet Coke. So
Yes.
Tell me how you got from there to here, to the whole cook, as listeners have heard in the intro. You're all about healthy eating and helping families make it easier. How in the world did you get from that place to here?
That's an excellent question. Those are definitely extremes. And I did have a lot of Cheetos and Diet Coke and Burger King back when we worked together. I never paid attention to my eating ever. I didn't know how to cook. It took a long time to get there. And then it started first when I got pregnant with my son, I knew I wanted to not be eating McDonald's every day while I was growing a child. So I made some changes there. And then really when he turned 1 or whatever the age is where they start to eat solids and then they start to eat whatever you're eating, it became really important to me. So that's when I kind of went down that rabbit hole of just Googling and reading everything I could get my hands on so that I was feeding him good things that would help him grow, make him feel better. It was really just all about him. And that's where it started. I still wasn't a confident cook at that time, but I was going down that path. I was making better decisions. I was making very simple food. I was doing a lot of grilling, which has always been easy for me, but that's pretty much it. And then when my daughter was born, I did a Whole30, which is a 30-day program where you really eliminate all sugar, grains, all processed foods. And then that was it for me. That really did it because I became someone who reads the ingredient list, and I'd never done that before. And it was just eye-opening, just shocking seeing what was in the food that I even considered healthy. And I just didn't know. I was just ignoring, the information. So that was the beginning of really where I am now, which is mostly a paleo-inspired diet, just making as many good decisions as possible, very little processed food. And I will say, the other thing that's just interesting is that David, my husband, was diagnosed with alpha-gal about 3 years ago, which is it's the result of a tick bite. So there's a specific tick called the Lone Star tick, and it can give you a dairy allergy and a red meat allergy. So David, for the last 3 years, hasn't been able to have dairy or red meat. And he just happened to be married to someone who was already making a lot of dairy-free foods. It worked out really well, but that's only cemented our decisions.
Yeah. Well, wow. God's providence there, right? I love that. We know like most of this audience are mothers. We've got some that are not yet mothers, or maybe they're just not going down that road. But for the mothers out there, we know that food before one is just for fun. And then it really is nutrition based. And so I love that you explained to us your why. I bet that was a great motivator. I mean, your son was a great motivator to learn to cook and to self-educate. Can I get you to briefly, I want to get tactical and talk to people who want to make small changes, because we might have some people listening that are like, oh man, I'm in the shoes she was wearing a few years ago now. So I want to talk about that, but can you comment on your experience with that Whole30? So guys, just taking a segment of time, doing a total elimination, and then reintroducing to see where the irritants are. Can you just comment on the power of that?
I really recommend it. I don't think it's necessary. I feel like you can approach it by making a lot of small changes if that's your preference. For me, this worked really well, kind of the all or nothing approach, because part of it is once you've committed to do it, you've told people you're doing it. I had family and friends who knew and who thought I was crazy for going 30 days without any sugar. I couldn't even have honey. I mean, it's super strict. And they thought I was a little crazy, which made me stick to it in those moments where I felt like, I really want that bean burrito from Taco Bell, guys. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I have to do it. I said I was going to do it. They thought I was crazy. I have to prove them wrong. And so I think that works for my personality. And also at the end of the 30 days, because it was such a drastic change, I felt so different. My body felt so different. And you don't always feel that when you're just making a small change, right? Mm-hmm. But this big change at the end of the 30 days, I was sleeping so much better. I had far less congestion. I have kind of chronic congestion, which I really have since learned is tied to dairy. I would not have known that otherwise. So it made me just feel so much more passionate about these changes because I felt so different. And that's why it worked for me.
I love it. And I wanted to clarify that. I mean, you make the point about personalities. So guys, if you're listening and you know that you would be motivated by that, if you know that, I mean, all you've got to lose is 30 days and you can feel that tangible difference. Awesome. So let's say somebody's on the other end of the spectrum and they're like, girl, I know what Whole30 is. Nope, not going to do it. Where do you think the low-hanging fruit is for folks that want to steer healthier?
I think the first thing you need to do is really plan ahead. So you're far more likely to make healthy food choices if you have a plan in place. Otherwise, you're going to go through the fast food drive-through, or you're going to go to the vending machine. I mean, that's what I did. And so plan ahead. And that doesn't necessarily mean meal plan, which is a great solution and you can certainly do it. But planning ahead could be just stocking your kitchen with the foods that the foods you would like to be eating, but maybe aren't. So you can start there, or identifying recipes that you would love to make for your family and making sure you have those ingredients handy so they become convenience meals, so they become easy. So that's the first step. And then as you're picking those recipes or snacks, make sure you're picking things that you actually want to eat and things that your family isn't going to gag at. So if you want to be someone who, eats kale chips, but your kids are going to flip out about it, I would, doesn't sound good to me. Don't start there. Start with cleaner soup. Start with a burger that maybe has some better ingredients on it and in it, or better, more vegetables. Start there so that you're not freaking everybody out, and so that you're still looking forward to your meals. Don't set those unrealistic expectations for yourself. You know your family. Keep that in mind as you're planning.
I love it. One of your recipes that's a go-to in the Goodwin household is the buffalo chicken casserole. And the reason why is because my family likes a good casserole.
Yes.
It's easy for me. And to your point, they're ingredients that we typically have on hand, or maybe I need a onesie or a twosie that will be delivered to me because but I love that point that you're making. I think every mother out there has served spaghetti squash to their children, and their kids say, "This is not spaghetti." And so to start where they are going to be eager and willing, and think about what these foods look like, y'all.
Definitely do.
Awesome. I love it. Can you tell me a little bit? I mean, look, this is going to be a hyperlink rich show notes. And then I'll also have the episode page on runliftmompod.com. So they're going to be able to find you. But I want you to talk a little bit. So now you started to make these small changes when your son was 1 and he was eating what you were eating. And then you said, I know myself, I'm going to do 30 days. Yikes, I feel a tangible difference. I'm going to go deep here.
Uh-huh.
What about the whole cook? I mean, because girl, your website is a thing. Ashton Kutcher in the early days is reposting your stuff. Now on Instagram, you've got quite a following. People are reposting the recipes that you've created that makes it easy for them at home. Tell us about that origin story.
So I started the Whole Cook about 4 years ago, or maybe a little more. Right around the time I did the Whole 30, I started an Instagram account, and I just started taking photos of what I was eating. And that was the beginning. I did that for several months. I was getting a lot of questions about the recipes, and that's what led to the Whole Cook website, because I needed a place for the recipes. So that was the beginning. And I really just jumped in. I didn't know a lot about what I was doing in terms of creating a website, managing social media accounts, how to grow those accounts, how to get people to find the website, which is all about.
You didn't have like a selfie light and a fancy camera and a like.
No, still don't have a selfie light. Think about that sometimes, but I don't. All my photos were on my iPhone, even on the website. There's still some there. I'm constantly trying to update them because when I see them, I'm horrified. But that's where you start, and that's where you need to start. If you don't have it there, you'll find so many excuses to not start. So that was the beginning, and I spent a lot of time Googling, looking for answers. What should my website look like? How do I make a Pinterest pin? How do I edit photos? It was really just learning as I went, making a ton of mistakes, and then doing better the next time, getting better and better every single recipe. That's where it started, and it's been so much fun. I didn't know that it would be what it is now. I don't know where it's going. I'm just, along for the ride and really enjoying it so much as I do it.
I love it. So you're an overnight success that took about 4 years. Tell me now what your day-to-day looks like. Being that you are managing a highly trafficked website and social account, what does your day look like?
It depends on what my goals are that day. So if I'm recipe testing, the kids go to school in the morning. My daughter only does a half-day kindergarten, so I have about 3.5 hours where I'm completely child-free. And I try to test recipes then, go to the grocery store then. I do not want to have to bring her in and out of the grocery store. So I get as much done in the morning. I do the recipe testing. Some recipes take, multiple attempts and multiple days of going back to it and figuring out what I did wrong, what I can improve.
The bad stuff. Do you guys just eat it anyway?
Yes, unless it's like bad, but usually it's not bad. It's just, a texture issue or something like that where it's, we'll survive. It's not intolerable.
So let's say I'm going to ask you to go back to your day, but I have to know these things, and I know listeners are thinking this. So Let's say XYZ new recipe. you test it for the first time. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 6. Do you make your family eat it?
Maybe, yeah. If it's not horrible, it really depends on how horrible it is. If it's not horrible, yes, we'll eat it. We'll survive. We'll discuss what should change. David has opinions for me. He'll tell me what he thinks should change. But yeah, I've thrown away some.
Do the kids help you too? Like, tell me the ages of your kids at the time of this recording.
Okay, so my daughter is 5, and she doesn't like a lot of food. She's at that phase where she really just, she eats healthy things. She eats apples, she eats carrots, she eats blueberries. That's what she wants 100% of the time. My approach with her is really not to force her to eat the things that I want her to eat that are good. If she's willing to eat other things that are good, then that's fine. So if she wants to eat an entire plate of raw carrots and blueberries and apples, we're not going to fight over the chili. That's fine. That's what she's going to eat. So we're good there. She's not super helpful when it comes to recipe testing. My son is, so he's 9, and he's a great eater. Great eater. He eats everything we eat, and he does tell me what he likes and what he doesn't like, or where he would make changes where something seems a little weird for him. But that kid can eat. He eats as much as David. He eats like a full-grown man.
Well, and it occurs to me that you have the perfect test kitchen because of the people that are helping you test.
Right.
So if somebody's never tried your recipes, I think that's going to motivate them. Okay, so you've got your kid-free hours. You're doing grocery shopping. You're doing recipe testing. What else comprises your day?
Well, that's really all I can get done in the morning if I'm doing testing. And then I get my daughter from school. In the afternoon, I try to do any photography that I have to do. And then I will edit photos. I will type in the recipe once it's finalized. I'll create the Pinterest pin. I'll manage the social media accounts. So I try to do all of that between about 12:30 to 3:30 because that's when my son gets home. And that's where I try to get all of that work done, and so that I can be done in the afternoon for all the activities we have to go to, the sports things. So it goes really, really fast.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I love that though allows you to be a fully present mom. That is awesome. So,
Yes.
Wonderful. So, any big things coming up for you?
I just turned in my manuscript for my first cookbook. So that's in the hands of a publisher right now. It's very
Wonderful.
exciting. We're starting the editing process, and I have a little bit of photography left to do. We're not done yet, but that will be out next fall. And I have a new website design. So the website, as it stands right now, while you and I are talking, is the same website that I designed 4 years ago, which is, I'm woefully unqualified to design a website. So that's what it is. But I finally hired somebody to do it, and that will go up with and completely new branding in the next week or so. And I'm really excited about that.
I look forward to seeing it. And actually, about the time I publish this, I think it'll be launched. And so people can, depending on the player they're in, you guys are either going to swipe up in your player, or you're going to click that hyperlink that says details, and you'll be able to check out the whole cook. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Yes, I'm ready.
Wonderful. Okay. So typically rapid fire is unrelated to our conversation. I'm going to do it a little bit differently with you because I can't have you here and not ask you about your favorites to cook for specific holidays. This is not a holiday, but in some areas of the country it is. Tell me your favorite Super Bowl thing to prepare for a big group.
Probably the 30-minute no bean chili. I always associate chili with Super Bowl. I don't know why. Always.
I think that's a good call, and we're going to link the recipe below. Let's say that you have got a summertime cookout. They said, hey, bring your favorite dish. What are you bringing?
I bring the ultimate marinated grilled chicken.
Awesome. Crowd pleaser?
Yes, always. So easy. I make it, honestly, every single week in the summer.
Love it. We're gonna link all of these below, guys. So you just heard me say you're either gonna swipe up or click details, so you can get access to all of these. What about a birthday?
Oh, I love the fruit salad with the lemon poppy seed dressing.
We're on audio right now. I wish you guys could see her. This is like the easiest. I'm throwing you softballs here. She knows these things right off the top of her head. Okay. How about around the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas? It's chilly outside. We're gift giving. What are you bringing?
Ooh, that one is harder. Since we just finished Thanksgiving, I will say the orange cranberry sauce because I think it's part of every holiday meal.
Love it. And finally, what is your favorite healthy-ish comfort food?
Well, I'm going to say that buffalo ranch chicken casserole you mentioned. It doesn't feel like it's healthy at all, so it is very much comfort food.
Absolutely. If you miss cheese, this is the one for you.
Feels like there's cheese in there. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to link all of those recipes below. People can check out your newly relaunched website. That's very exciting. And then into 2020, they can look out for your cookbook.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Christina. It's been a delight to chat with you.
Thank you, Susie. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, The Whole Cook, aka Christina Shoemaker, for coming on the Run Lift Mom podcast. Christina, it has been a blessing to watch your business flourish and watch how you are serving others through The Whole Cook. You guys, you have to check out her new website. It's thewholecook.com, TheWholecook.com. I know a lot of people don't look at the show notes. That's all right, guys. If you do, you're going to click on details or swipe up depending on the player that you're in, and you're going to see the specific links to all of those recipes that Christina just mentioned in rapid fire. You got to go to this website though, because it makes it really easy to find the things that you're looking for. As an example, our family just added an air fryer to the kitchen. It's been a ton of fun, but Christina's website makes it so that you can filter out for recipes that can be created with an air fryer. Additionally, you want something dairy-free, one pot, slow cooker, Whole30, vegetarian, sheet pan, paleo. She's got it, you guys. This is an abundance of goodness on her website. And again, that's thewholecook.com. Thank you again, Christina. And until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8. And this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. All right, I've got Katie Danger with Red H Nutrition. Katie, you know I am a runner first and foremost. I'm doing anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per week. I'm closer to 40 than I am 30. Tell me about Superflexi.
Superflexi is great for anybody who is active, has a few aches and pains in their joint and tissues, and wants to combat that with a all-in-one full-strength joint and tissue support. It's got turmeric, it's got glucosamine and chondroitin, it's got collagen type 2. So what you're looking at here is a full and total spectrum support for any inflammation you have with your joints and tissues. It's going to help you improve your range of motion, and you're going to just feel better doing what you love.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you don't have to be a runner to benefit from Superflexi.
No, it doesn't matter what you do. In fact, even if you only work out 3 times a day, light cardio, maybe you're just a walker, if you want to feel better and you want your joints and tissues to move the way you want them to, Superflexi is essential.
Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, but Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening to the Run Lift Mom podcast. This began as a passion project in February of 2019. I wanted to uplift other women in the areas of running, lifting, and motherhood. Here's what's happened. I've not only personally been uplifted, I have been blessed by the relationships with guests on this show, by the relationships with listeners of this show. Thank you so much for helping me continue this passion project. Here's how you can help even more, and it will take you less than 10 seconds, dear listener. I want you to rate, review, and subscribe. Rate, review, and subscribe. It really, really helps other people find the show, and it keeps my show sponsors happy. You guys, I'm thrilled to announce a new partner on Run Lift Mom, and that is Audible. I've been an Audible member for over 10 years, and my favorite part, hands down, it's the gift of time. I use the free app to take notes as I'm doing my long run and I hear something fantastic, and you are going to love it. If you want to try Audible free, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom. That's RUNLIFTMOM. Again, for a free trial, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom.